Creature Commandos is the premiere show in the DCU, and by episode 3, it's already introducing strong characters that could be perfect for future projects, with one that would be perfect for Daniel Craig. Back in 2022, the DCEU announced a total overhaul with James Gunn and Peter Safran stepping in to take over and lead the newly formed DC Studios in a whole new direction. As a result, the DCU was born, and several projects were announced early on, including the upcoming Superman movie, a Batman movie, and Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos was a standout in the lineup of announced projects, because the characters are considerably more obscure than most other projects that were included in the lineup. However, now that Creature Commandos is available to stream, the show is beginning to build out the DC universe in detail, with characters and actors who are supposed to play their roles in both animated projects and live action. Among them, there is one character who would be the perfect fit for Daniel Craig, despite the actor not taking on the voice role. Creature Commandos debuts SGT Rock in the DCU. SGT Rock and the rest of Easy Company were G.I. Robot's first family. Creature Commandos Episode 3 digs into the history of G.I. Robot. G.I. Robot is one of the core members of Task Force M, and his origins up to this point were simply that he was a robot that was used in World War II to help fight the Nazis. But Episode 3 swerves between the World War II setting, where G.I. fights alongside his comrades in Easy Company, and the present, when he works with the Creature Commandos. While Easy Company only appear briefly in the episode, they make a lasting impression, and one character in particular, Sergeant Rock, would be perfect for Daniel Craig. Sergeant Rock is voiced by Maury Sterling in Creature Commandos, but that isn't to say Craig couldn't tackle the role in live action. The leader of their little group, he warmly welcomes G.I. to the group after a shootout where the robot proves himself as an incredible asset. It is in this moment that he declares 3 cheers for the Tin Man, giving the character a nickname, which is synonymous with Sergeant Rock's comic book persona. Superhero fans deserve a World War II movie, and Marvel skipped it too fast. An interesting and unique comic book movie without the superheroes. Daniel Craig is a skilled actor who elevates the projects he appears in, and a role like Sergeant Rock would be a perfect way to bring him to the DCU. While it is not very typical for modern comic books to deal with a topic like World War II, following war heroes used to be a large part of comic books that came out throughout the 20th century. And for an actor like Craig, it would likely need to be something that is a little out of the ordinary to grab the actor's SGT. Rock leading the Easy Company in World War II, and especially exploring his friendship with G.I. Robot and their missions together could be an incredible and unique premise for a comic book movie that would give fans something completely new. And while Marvel did feature a taste of this in Captain America, the First Avenger, it only really featured a few scenes with Cap getting into the action with the Howling Commandos. The rest of the time, he was touring propaganda for the US military. The DCU has a chance to do it right, and with Craig leading the charge, it's certain to be spectacular. Daniel Craig's SGT Rock can build on what Creature Commandos has already done. Daniel Craig has the talent to make this kind of movie work in the DCU. There is a clear path for Craig to take on the role and star as a live-action Sergeant Rock, and honestly, it would do a lot to build on the story in Creature Commandos, and G.I. Robot specifically. The project could be a DC Elseworlds film that explores the history of the Easy Company and the war efforts in the DCU, as they appear to have had highly advanced automatons. This would allow G.I. Robot's backstory to be fleshed out further and keep things in the realm of the fantastical, which is emblematic of comic book films. It would also be similar in tone to Creature Commandos in terms of having a gritty tone, and seeing a band of ragtag soldiers come together to form a team of heroes. Sergeant Rock does not possess powers in the comics, so it is likely that the story would be grounded in many ways, aside from the killer robot, but it would make for an incredible movie where Daniel Craig could really deliver a special performance for the DCU.